大家好，歡迎大家收睇週一長談呢個節目，我係姚永安，係你嘅主持。我哋今日要同大家討論嘅話題咧係種族嘅關係。近期我哋喺新聞裏邊咧都經常睇到啲新聞係關於同種族有關嘅，例如有啲批評就係話有啲廣告就係有中英文喺裏邊嘅，亦都有啲人咧就係發起一個簽名運動，就係反對喺 Richmond 咧即係列治文咧有一啲完全係中文嘅招牌嘅一啲工作嘅。咁所以我哋今日咧就想探討呢個問題。咁好高興就請到一位喺我哋列治文市相當有資歷嘅市議員Bill McNulty 同我哋今日係做嘉賓嘅。Bill, thanks for coming to our show.
Welcome.
Today our topic would be on race relations in Metro Vancouver.
Right.
So I know you have been a long-time resident in Richmond. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow. I've been in the community meeting you many times, so I understand that you live in Richmond as well?
Yes, so I've been in Richmond 45 years, and have seen tremendous changes in Richmond over the years, and it's a pleasure to see where we are today as a very major, welcoming city within the cities within Canada.
I believe you were elected in 1993.
Yes.
That was the time when the Parker Place, besides the old Aberdeen Centre, was being constructed. I have to say that that two Chinese or Asian mall, Aberdeen Centre and Parker Place, has set up quite a new model for these type of mall in North America. Can you tell us something about how it was being planned and the local reaction at that time?
Yeah, I was just new on council when they came into being, really, and it was nice to see them being developed, and it was interesting how they evolved, especially Aberdeen Centre and the new Aberdeen Centre, which we rezoned in its present format to make it truly an international and welcoming mall. So that everybody could enjoy it. And Parker Place had its expansions as well within the shops and what have you. And as you well know, it's quite a cosmopolitan of businesses there. And both of these malls have been very, very significant in the whole Lower Mainland. And we're quite happy that they are here, and they're available to everybody that wants to. And I frequent them quite often, actually. At least once a week to Aberdeen Centre, and another time to, as a matter of fact, this very moment I'm supposed to be opening a business at Parker Place, but I had to pass because of this interview.
Okay. Well, of course, other than those Asian or Chinese mall construction, in the 90s there was a huge inflow of Hong Kong immigrants to Metro Vancouver. And how do you see, a local reaction in the 90s in terms of the Asian mall as well as the big inflow of Chinese immigrants from Hong Kong?
Well, just so you know, I worked as a counselor psychologist within the school systems, and I was at McGee in Vancouver, so I know that immigration that came from Hong Kong, Taiwan, and mainland China from the 90s to now. They were welcomed. Richmond was a very welcoming community, and you have to remember, and the way I look at things, we're all immigrants. I'm an immigrant too. It just depends when my family was able to come over here. My family came from Europe, not only Ireland and Poland or Ukraine. And so we're all immigrants, and I don't think there was really a reaction. It was one of acceptance and tolerance, and here's some new neighbors, and at least from my point of view, and I have a gentleman right next door to me from Hong Kong, and we're good neighbors, and this is the thing, you welcome them here, and I don't think there was that kind of reaction at that time. We're talking 24 years ago.
Yeah, of course, at that time there were only a couple more.
Yes,
but
correct.
now, as we've seen, the Asian mall, Chinese mall has expanded quite a bit.
Very much,
into other neighborhoods.
Right.
So in terms from the city point of view and also from the local residential point of view, is there any difference? Is it nowadays the same responses, or actually because now it's a bigger influence, people has a little more concern nowadays?
Well, I think people have concern, but I want to separate a couple of things. I chair the city's building planning committee okay, which is the largest portfolio and the plan in the city of Richmond. There are those that are worried about change, okay? Change in terms of development and growth, because it was rural. It wasn't so long ago we had a racetrack in Richmond. We had horses here, we had cows, we had farming, etc.
Yes, Richmond has quite
and then all of a sudden we
changed.
Here. But at the same time that change was taking place, immigration occurred in Canada, and in particular Richmond. And many of the Asians found Richmond and liked Richmond and came here. So you've got to separate the two. And because the two at the time, and I'm still hearing about change, but sometimes people focus away from what really is happening, and I'm trying to get to what is happening. We have grown very quickly. We've gone from a rural of 60,000 people, approximately 60 in 1971 when I came here, to 215,000 today. You know, 40 years later, we've grown, you know, 5 times. And so people are resenting change because they still want their big backyard, their big farm, and that, well, that's not going to happen anymore. The change has taken place.
Yeah, but at the same time, well, I've read non-Chinese residents expressing discontent for being turned into minority in their own neighborhood, because, well, this is the neighborhood they was brought up, they were born, and then it's a white community. And all in a sudden, in a decade or two, well, it becomes a Chinese or Asian neighborhood. Have you heard anything
Well, I've heard
that?
and people are saying that. But it's the same as if a whole bunch of us immigrated to some other town in, say, southwestern China or whatever, and we came in there. There are those that are saying what they want, but we do welcome everybody. And the reason there is opportunity here for people to come and live, we provide for everybody, and there should be no reason why you should feel that way. It's part of the change. The growing population, many of the what I call the pioneers of Richmond have passed on. You know, they built the community up to a certain stage. They were 80, 90, or 100 years old,
and they cashed out their houses too.
Well, you know, they cashed out their houses and left elsewhere, or they've just passed on and left a legacy behind. So yes, we've heard that, but I take it in a different point of view. I look at we know we have immigration, whether it be from Europe or do you know the biggest immigration, believe it or not, in the 90s was not from China and Hong Kong. It was from Ontario.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It was from Ontario. They got out of very hot back there right now in Mingy. Snow in the winter time. Welcome to BC. They come out here. It was Canadians immigrating here, Albertans immigrating here. You know, so yes, there was the Asian influence, but there were, people forget to look at the whole picture. Who else came?
In the 90s, it was the inflow of Hong Kong migrants, and after 2000, the year, we see the Hong Kong immigrants was replaced by mainland immigrants from China. Do you see the difference of these two groups of people?
Well, I think there's a difference approach, yes. I think there's a difference in attitude. Because obviously people who live in Hong Kong, and I've been to Hong Kong, so I know it as a little different community as opposed to the vast China, okay? The big brother, if you wish, across the sea. And I've been to China too, 8 times. So I've seen a fair bit of China. And so yes, there is a bit of a difference in attitude, but I notice it, but and I'm sure they notice it too. But it's still welcoming, and they're both here in Canada. We're friends and neighbors, brothers and sisters.
No, but in terms of the need and also how they like to buy their house, decorate their house, renovate their house, do you see the difference?
Yeah, I think there's quite. I'm not sure if there's the two groups, but the Asian influence on property in decorating a house. Some of the what I call traditions and I won't say superstitions or what have you, but some of the things, there are some differences.
So both like 8.
And
the number 8.
Yeah, if I had 8s to sell in Richmond, I'd make lots of money.
Okay.
For 8. I'm up for my 8th election, by the way.
Oh, okay.
This year,
Lucky you.
November 15th, Bill McNulty, my election. Okay, number 8, Chinese.
We all remember.
You all remember that.
Yeah,
right.
sure.
But yes, there are a few changes and a few discrepancies. But you know, It's the same as somebody else wants to at one time we had the problem with monster homes. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the Asians building the monster homes, it was the locals building monster homes. And we had that problem, etc. But it was change. And that was the sort of thing that people were concerned about. But we accepted it and we allowed them. And you can go on 5 roads, you can go on 4 roads, you can go on 3 roads. They're monster homes, okay? And they're not all Asian, okay? And so everybody does. It depends on your wealth, I guess, and how much money you have.
Yeah, I think this is also interesting because when we take a look at some of the complaints on the mainland immigrants in recent years and comparing to actually similar complaint in the 90s, it's actually pretty much the same thing, even though some of the complaints are now made by the Hong Kong immigrants.
Right.
But well, if you take a look at all those complaints, it's actually pretty much the same thing. OK， 好啦，我哋第一節咧就暫時到呢度啦。咁就我哋陣間轉頭翻嚟咧就會同 Bill McNulty 咧繼續講一個更加深入嘅話題。